How to record subject grades using your nersapp platform. There are basically two ways you can record grades. You can record online using this environment, or you can use this environment to download a specialized Excel spreadsheet, record offline, and upload it to your platform. So to record grades in nersapp or using nersapp, you have to ensure that you are in the right school level, and from there you pick a class. When you pick a class, there are basically two ways you can record this data. You can record it by subjects, you can record it by students. By subjects, it means when you pick a class, the subject will be loaded. When you click a subject and click load records, it will load the subjects or the students offering this current subject. As you can see, these are the students here, 1 to 3, with their record which is empty. If you switch to record by students, the system here with this class here will load the students in this class, which are these 3 students. So you can pick a student, for instance, Fikabo, and load records. You should load all the subjects this student can possibly offer in that class. From here, you can start adding the grades. So those are the 2 methods of recording grades. So let's switch back to recording by subjects and use that method. So after loading, the system will attempt to load a pre-existing record of data for these students if they were there. If they're not there, you'd get these blank spaces for which you can start recording your grades. Let's start analyzing this environment. On your top left here, you can sort these records by the student name or by the subject name, that is if you're recording by subjects or by students. This sorting is done in an ascending order. Then you can also sort by score. This score in terms of total score, as you can see in this column here. The average performance of the whole student in this subject for this class would be seen here, and nersapp calculates it automatically. In the right hand side, this gives you information concerning the number of records that are here. So far we have 3 for Fikabo, for Naomi, for Priscilla. Also, there are 2 sets of round buttons with some numbers on their head. This first one here gives you information concerning the records that are transferred from a different class to this class. How does this work? In nersapp, in this case here, we are dealing with nursery 1A. Assuming there were pre-existing records for these 3 students here, and a different student also have a record of this subject in a different class, say nursery 1B, but your school want to transfer that student from nursery 1B to nursery 1A. So when that student is transferred from that class, that's from nursery 1B to nursery 1A, take note, the student already had some pre-existing grade record for English in nursery 1B. So when the student is transferred to nursery 1A, the record will not be transferred instantly. When you click on the load records, those records will be transferred, but it will be stored in where we have the transfer record. From here, you can click and accept the record or deny it. Also again, it's possible that in this class we have 3 students here, but say Priscilla was transferred to nursery 1B, and probably before she was transferred there were some records, grades for Priscilla here, so the data will still be hanging here. So as the teacher of this class or subject teacher of this class, you may need to transfer Priscilla's record from nursery 1A to nursery 1B, so that the teacher in nursery 1B would have to accept those records instead of re-entering the record again. That's why we have the second button called invalid or misplaced records. So you can transfer records from here, or you can deny it. That means student will have to get a new record in the new class. You can export this data for your own consumption in an Excel format, or you can also delete this record assuming the records were wrong. Deleting this record can only be possible if this record is not locked, or if this record is not checked, like checked by the teacher or by the manager or an admin. Let's go ahead and see how you can record grades on the platform. So far this is the current session and term, the class, the subjects. If you were to deal with this by students and you simply load a student information, you can see this would change. It's the same class, but this time we're dealing with just pickable the student name, and these are the subjects. As you can see, the subject carries with the subject code by the side there. So let's still switch it back to recording by subjects. Alright, so we have 3 students, 2 subject educators. The subject educators are more like, in most schools you call it subject teachers. Then the class educator are more like, in most schools you call it a class teacher. But their general name, they are all educators. So we have 2 subject educators and 1 class educator. So let's start by recording subject. To record subjects in nersapp, especially in this version, at the top right corner you see an information bar here. If you hover your mouse there, it says in entering grades scores, cell score, that's each of the cell where you can enter the score, can either be a positive number up to 4 digits maximum within the range of assessment/exam column. For instance, for test 1, the range here for this assessment is 30. You cannot enter a value beyond 30. For exams here, the range here is 70. That means you cannot enter above 70. And for total score, whatever we have here can go beyond 100. If you hover again, or you can use the word ABS, which represent absent. ABS is an informal way of saying 0, but we are trying to let the student or the parent or the teacher know that this student was actually absent for this test score or exam or this assessment. So you use ABS. You can literally use 0. You can't tell, like sometimes you may wonder, why would I have 0? Okay, so how to tell that is by ensuring to write the absent. So probably the person was absent for that test score or exams. Then you can also have dash. Dash means no score yet. That means you probably, for instance, you're recording assessment, maybe test, but exam is not yet in view. So the exam column will have to be represented with dash or hyphen. Then if a student is not offering a particular subject in that class, but that student is in that class but is not offering that subject, you can put on those recording cell asterisks. Asterisks will tell nersapp that this student is not offering this subject in this class. So those are the 4 different information that you can use on the different cell. Before we start recording cell, you can see that these cells are active, meaning that you can start recording or putting scores. But the total column is not active. The reason why it's not active is because this total column is a formula. That means nersapp would have to compute the formula that you set up for this class. So assuming I start by this first person here and I record say 28, he scored 28, and in the exam he scored 50. So you can see nersapp actually did the computation for you. So this eliminates a little bit of hard work for you there. And you can see here the person is at first position and the record has been completed so far. So you must actually check that the record are completed before you approve this work. If it's not completed and you approve, this record will not be useful when generating result or report card for this class. They must all be 100%. Let's go again. In this one, let's assume this person was absent for his test, but in exam he scored 62. You can see it's also completed, but it was absent here, and this is the total. Let's assume this student, Priscilla, doesn't offer English language. So we're going to put here asterisk. Once you put asterisk, nersapp would understand that you are trying to say that this student doesn't offer this subject. So it's simply filling the remaining cells with asterisk. As you can see, it's also completed 100, but position is dash because it's not part of the student offering these subjects here. So that's how to record subjects on the platform. When you're done as a teacher, you will see, or as educator, you will see the EA. EA means educator's approval. This approval is very necessary if this work is to go through result generation using nersapp. So you have to approve this work, and when you approve this work, it means that this work cannot be tempered again. The administrator of this platform have the right to approve both for the teacher or for the educator and also for the manager. For the manager on their platform, they will see this column MA, that's manager's approval. Whereas for the educators, they will see the EA approval. But this is an admin account, so we can see both of them and make use of both of them by approving for EA and MA. So that's how to record subject grade using NERSApp on the platform.